Hey everybody, it's Dana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and blog. Today I'm playing with the Altenew Halftone circles. I'm so happy I was able to get my hands on this stamp set because I absolutely love it. So I'm going to share with you a card that I had already made, and I figured I would show you the process. I made this stamp set, this card already, and I sent it out to a friend, but I absolutely love how it came together, so I thought I would share the process with you guys. I'm also going to be using some Altenew ink, and this is the warm grays. So in essence, I'm really making my own background paper, my own designer paper. So for the first two circles that I'm stamping out, I'm using two of the lighter shades of gray. So within the gray 4-pack of ink cubes that you can purchase from Altenew, you're going to get 4 shades of gray. So the first two circles that I just stamped out are the lighter of the shades, and the next two colors I'm going to stamp out are the darker of the shades. Now, if you end up buying any of the mini cubes from Altenew, that's how they run in the sets. You're going to get 4 colors, and they're going to range from like a light all the way down to a dark. So I'm going to go ahead and press that down, and then I'll bring the paper up to you, and you can see how beautiful those halftone circles are. So now I also have an acrylic block with two of the smaller circles, but now I'm going to add a punch of color. So I'm going to use some ruby red with this, and I'm just going to start adding some of the red circles. And this is like my little punch of color. I love the color combinations of gray and red together. I think they're just such a pretty color combination. To me, you can use it for masculine or feminine. I love to see it in homes. I love to see that color with like white. So yeah, I actually did it on a card and I fell in love with it. So now I'm going to use the smaller of the halftone circles, and I'm using one of the lighter shades of gray just to fill in some of the spaces on the card. So this paper here is Nina Solar White, 80-pound weight. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but that is the base paper that I'm using here. So now I'm coming in with the next darker shade of the gray, and I'm just filling in some of the spots. So this is just a random design. I don't have any, set way I'm doing this. It's just like a very random pattern that I'm putting down on the paper. So next I'm coming in with another shade of that gray, and I'm continuously just going in and filling in some of those open spots. Just make sure if you ever do one of these designs to also make sure that you run the design off the paper, because if you are actually buying a print or a pattern paper, the design will actually run off the paper. So it's okay if you do that as well. Now here I'm filling in some of the areas where I felt I still needed to have a little bit more red. There was just areas that I felt that were a little bit still too sparse that I needed to add some red to. So now I think I just need to go in and add a little bit more of the medium gray. And I'm just going to fill in just a few more areas. I just want to make sure, because once I'm done stamping, I just totally want to be done. Just going to make sure I have all my areas on the side covered. And I think that looks good. All right, now I'm done with all of that stamping, and I absolutely love it. And now I'm going to move on to the sentiment. Now for the sentiment, I did not want to stamp that directly onto the card. So I chose to grab a piece of red cardstock and use that to stamp my sentiment on. So I'm going to be heat embossing this. So I'm going to use my anti-static tool. That's by EK Success. And put that down so none of my embossing powder is going to stick to that red paper. So now, once I have everything lined back up in my MISTI, I'm going to go ahead and use my Versamark to stamp down my sentiment. Now you can do this kind of background on a card panel with any color ink. I think it would look beautiful in like rainbow colors or shades of purple, red, green. Green would be awesome. That would be a beautiful masculine card. And then you can just add one other color as your contrasting color, and it will give a really nice punch of color. All right, I have my embossing powder done. Now I can get everything out of the way and I can go ahead and heat emboss that sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and heat from the front, move to the back, and then come right on back to the front. And then our sentiment is heat set. Now this sentiment says life is better in color, and that's where we really have that nice punch of red. All right, so I don't want to use that entire panel, so I'm just going to cut down my sentiment and put it on a nice little angle, and we'll have that popped up nicely onto our card panel. I'm going to use some foam pop-up dots right here to pop up my panel, or pop up my sentiment rather. Just going to slide that one over, and we'll put that in between. So as you can see, this was not hard to do, and you can really make a boatload of these at one time, like mass produce them, and you can have them done in no time. All right, that looks super cool. I absolutely love it. All right, so now we can go ahead and start assembling the card. Now, you guys know me if you watch my videos, 99.9% of the time, I always use a white card base. And this one here is Nina Solar White 110 pound card base. That's usually my number one go-to. I'm going to go ahead and get my bone folder and give myself a good crease on that. Now I'm starting to think I don't want the white on white. I think I want to go ahead and give myself a little bit of a border. So I'm going to go ahead and trim down that card panel just enough that I can go ahead and mat that down. So I'm just going to trim a little bit off the top and the bottom. And this is good to realize this, totally before I had that glued down to my card base. So I'm going to grab me some fog cardstock, and this fog cardstock is from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and trim that paper down as well, and then I can go ahead and finish assembling my card. Now at this point, it looks either way. I can give this as a masculine card or a feminine card, but you guys know me, I always have to add, a little bit of something else to my card, so it can go either way at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up with that fog cardstock. Now, when I purchased this kit, I also purchased 2 dies. I think one says thanks on it, and maybe the other one says hello. I can't remember at the moment. But that would also look really cool if I just die cut that actually into this really pretty background. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish putting down my adhesive here, and then I can go ahead and pop that up onto my card base. All right, that looks perfect. Now at this point, you guys know I had to break out some sequins. So this is when it totally turns into a girly card. So I'm just going to use 3 red sequins on here. At this point, I really wish I did have like some really nice light grays. I thought that would look pretty too. But I don't have any in my stash, so that's going to really require me to do a little bit of shopping to try to see if I can find me some pretty gray sequins. So if anybody knows where I can purchase them, feel free to leave that in the comment section below, because that would be something I would like to have in my stash, to have some pretty light gray sequins. Alrighty. That is it for the card. I hope you guys like this process. If you do, feel free to give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic day. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.